Boo! Did I scare ya? Did I make you do a spooky dookie? Good. Now, come with me to an adventure you have never, ever seen before. Join me on a quest for the spookiest game ever. Hey, just letting you know, this is future me. So letting you know that this is the first time I ever made a script for myself and had to go over. So the script is going to be a lot sloppy and everything, and it's going to have a lot of cut-ins and outs and everything. So just bear with it, and I hope you all have a very good day. Now, let's start the review.
For the spirit of Halloween, I wanted to take a break from animation for just a little bit and talk about the cutest Earthbound inspired RPG that I recently stumbled across on Steam because I wanted to look up like any Halloween game, which sadly Steam kind of barely even has any like Halloween like games. But this RPG has gotten my attention to the point where I'm actually like excited that this game is about to come out. So, Horror Veil. That's the game, Horror Veil. Horror Veil is an RPG made by Batworks Software, formerly known mostly as Alarcus Games. Alarcus Games was founded by Dustin Andrews, the creator of the Sand Bandits and Jonto webcomic series, and Matthew Rocks, the composer of the OST, also known as original soundtrack for Undersea, Wildwood, The Game is Trash, and many more. And I'm not talking about game actually being trash. That's actually literally the title of the thing. The game is trash. And to see that this is being made by two people, it's really cool. This game is also made by RPG Maker, which you already know RPGs is just a lot to go through when it comes to like horror, story driven, or like visual novels and everything. But for this game is a lot different. As I said, it is Earthbound inspired, and it sets you off as Alice, the cute skeleton witch. Alice is really just adorable with that witch costume. But wait, Alice has been locked inside her own home. Luckily, her dad is a puzzle master who left the keys in the house in simple puzzles he came up with. Inside the house, you'll find our faithful companion, best friend, Scruffy. He acts as an ally to help you through Act 0. By the way, this game has many other acts, just like what Undertale has for each episode. It really honestly gives me like Mother 3 vibes with your canine companion, Boney. Because Lucas and Boney go on an adventure together until they find the rest of the cast. Also, one quick thing, I love whenever you have an ally, it says, you made a new friend. It is honestly super cute. I love it. I wish most RPG games were just like this. Also, your house is haunted, filled to the brim with spooks and kooks, sending shivers down your spines. But the ghosts sound honestly really chill. So, I think it's best just to let them be. But as soon as I leave one of the rooms, this is the first room where all the ghosts are, they were playing pool and everything, I get attacked by a floating chair. And this is where the battle system comes in. The battle system is simple. Basically, you got your average attack, specials, and further on. I really adore the UI as your HP is indicated by skelly skulls. And your MP are just little tiny pumpkins. My apologies. DP and FP. Death points and fear points. That's honestly a really cute touch because it's all the whole spooky Halloween season and you are a skeleton. Everything screams Earthbound when you come to the UI. The UI is just literally when your character pops up, like in Mother 3 or Earthbound or whoever, it shows off your little character on the top of the UI, and it's honestly a really great touch. And honestly, it makes me smile from ear to ear. It's just so goddamn adorable. As I was traversing through the house, a ghost who had a red name was in a closet guarding a key. Basically, this is on the like further into the story. It's the new mechanic for the game is red named enemies. Red named enemies are basically the impossible to kill enemies until you actually meet a certain requirement or like a item that you need to defeat them. And the ghost that I needed to defeat actually needs purifying salt to actually defeat it. So that way, after that, I can get the key and then keep going forward, so forth, so forth. I also wanted to say that the act that I was in, Act 0, was just chocked full of like references, such as like Undertale and basically Yume Nikki, and most of the other horror kind of like Easter eggs that you could find. The one thing that made me laugh was basically like the lamp that's like literally right next to the entrance of the door. It like before you even like get all the keys, it just says just a non-spooky lamp. There's nothing spooky about it. But as soon as you get all the keys, bam! The lamp turns against you, literally to attack you. And then when you rough it up, it turns into the real boss of Act 0. It was honestly like a surprising thing because I thought the lamp was an enemy, like just a regular enemy, but no, bam, it just turns into like this spectral possessed lamp and everything. And then when the lamp attacked, and I was just like, oh Jesus, a lamp that wasn't remotely spooky, like oh my god. As I thought it was just another enemy, like I said, just roughed it up. And then, boom! Boss! I was really surprised, like I said. Now that is spooky. Though it was an easy breeze, and as soon as I walked through the door, it was the beginning of Act 1. I thought, basically with the demo, it was like, or, well, no, the game was actually in early access and everything, so I thought it was just end there completely. But it was the beginning of Act 1. A spook ghost girl appeared and walked out of her driveway, and her dog Scruffy chased after the entity. Scruffy leaves the team as it was up to us to find her. We traverse through town to see there's a crowd of ghosts have blocked the road. Apparently, monsters called the Creepies are running amok and wreaking havoc around town. As we run towards the west gate, a figure has our dog, and Scruffy and I fought it off. And then even though after we won, Scruffy still got killed. Though the guard that was right next to us saw the whole thing, didn't really want to do anything about it, and literally just won't let us pass because the mayor won't let anybody out of the town because of the Creepies effect. This is probably why we're having creepy attacks. These guys are just too lazy, I swear. So it's up to Alice to get the mayor's permission. I talked to most of the NPCs and they really don't know what to call the mayor. It's usually Finkelbrain, Funky Wonky, Finkelbrine. That's literally any of the names that they just came up out of the top of their heads. It's really hilarious. I attempted to get to the mayor, but the police blocked the area and refused to let us through. So, we did what any other 17-year-old skeleton witch girl did. We killed him! And then, I'm gonna be honest, I was really surprised that, like, we killed an officer. I thought we would just subdue him or something, like beat him up or just so we can get out. No, we straight up killed him. Luckily, there was an NPC that actually said, we don't really kill people in the underworld. They just spawn in from the last time they slept. And I was just like, gamer. That's it. I was gamer. Along the way, we recruited two friends, Rap and Jekyll. Rap's having the supporter role, and Jekyll having the tactician role, with Jekyll having the ability to become a split persona, Chad. He becomes more of the big physical attacker role. There's a lot to uncover in Act 1 to, like, go over, but I don't really want to spoil it, so you guys can look it up yourselves. It's a really great game. Look up a playthrough, like I said. Who knows, maybe you'll find the Sans Undertale Easter egg and Yumi Nikki reference. There's like a bunch of them, by the way. Like I said, from Act 0, there's a bunch of those references in the game. Also, the main three characters remind me of the Mother 1 crew. Because mostly with Jekyll, he reminds me of the one nerd kid from Mother 1. So, to be honest, it's actually a really nice touch. After the events we went through, we get to the mayor's laboratory. Well, we got to the mayor's office, but it's mostly a laboratory, which we soon discover he's been making experiments to keep the creepies out of town. But mostly the experiments that he has been making is mostly failures. This area gets really surprisingly hard because since nearly the enemies do 200 chunks of damage, even though we basically nearly killed all the enemies that we went by, it's still, like, they still do a lot of damage to us. Though we traversed through the lab, luckily, because even though, like, I didn't die a single time in the lab, I just, like, kept on spamming spells and attacks and everything. We traversed through the lab, collecting body parts for a soul in a jar named Joffrey. I don't even know, it's like, the way they spell it is Joffrey? Geoffrey? I don't know. Just to make a Frankenstein-like monster. Though, he could be the monster, and then he still calls himself a failed experiment, but he's really helpful, though. Going through a maze to get to the elevator while avoiding Hank Hill security bots, by the way. They even say, feel the propane, which is it's a really hilarious joke, by the way. It's just throwing a Hank Hill reference and it makes it 100 times funny. Then after that, we get to the elevator to the top while riding with the mayor, which he's just a brain in a jar, by the way. He definitely just reminds me of the one Billy and Mandy character where basically it was just a brain in a jar, which apparently has eyes on top of a freaking pink bear. It reminds me of that. We get to the top and we confront Dr. Ludwig Frankenstein. He creates some, like, okay. We get to the top and we confront Dr. Ludwig Frankenstein. Though it's really funny that the title card changes. It was just called Mayor Finkelwing or Finkelwing. though the title card still messes us up, even though he says his name is Dr. Ludwig Frankenstein, which is funny. He has created the monster where basically it is to destroy all the creepies in the town and to prevent them from, like, you know, going haywire or everywhere in the town. And then he thought that we were like creepies, like enthusiasts or creepy, like supporters or whatever it is. He then awakens the monster with a flash of lightning. And the monster is convinced that we were the bad guys and attacked us. And I gotta say, this boss is really difficult. The monster uses electricity as his main attack, which can inflict paralysis. Which, if you don't know, stuns you for 3 or to 4 turns. He stunned all 3 of my party members. I even been OTK'd by him because he stunned all 3 of my party members at the beginning of the battle. After I died like for 3 times. He is really brutal even when you defeat every enemy in the game. After the 5th time, I defeated him. He respawned at the last place he woken after he died. The doctor then threatened to disassemble him. And he did not want that. He did not want that. He was like so surprised. Because he was defeated by a girl. Alice, the girl. The girl who defeated him and freaking, like, he was like really hard. I mean, if he came back at us again, then there would have been a problem. Alice then tried to protect the monster, and the doctor did not want any of that. So he just freaking threw Alice right behind her across the room. And the monster then realizes that Dr. Ludwig Frankenstein was a bad guy. And then Frankenstein literally stunned the 2 of our other party members and tried to attack Alice. But the monster literally jumped up in the air and went by Alice's side. And as soon as after that, Dr. Ludwig Frankenstein literally transformed into a robotic-like monster, which is kind of cool. But as soon as we get to fight him, he was easy. He was like literally so easy enough that he is a literal joke, because the monster fights alongside with us, and Dr. Ludwig Frankenstein only does like 80 to 90 points of damage, and we just swept him. He was just swept under the rug and completely decimated. Though a couple of his minions actually do have the stun ability, but they barely did that to me and only did it once. And the monster was honestly really, really powerful against Ludwig Frankenstein, which is just wow, okay. And then after we defeated Dr. Ludwig Frankenstein, he then realizes that what he was doing was wrong, and he should be protecting the city more and should be thinking more of his people. Then we ask him, do you know where my dog is? You know, the Scruffy and everything. He doesn't know, but we also do get permission to go out of the gates. And after he gave us the pass, Dr. Ludwig Frankenstein gave in the monster a name, and his name is now Bolts. He is now a party member of the team, and then as soon as we go out of the building. We went to the West Gate, and then our 2 party members, Raps and Jekyll, then just departed from us. They said they couldn't come with because basically their parents would kill them. That's actually correct because they're just teenagers. just teenagers with teenage life, though they want to come with her, but their parents would kill them, even though they can't really be killed because they can just respawn. But our party departs from each other, bolts with us and everything, and then we have the end credits. And the end credits, honestly, is actually a good stylistic choice because it reminds me of the Earthbound series end credits. There was a lot of things that is like inspired just because of Earthbound. Heck, they even reference a YouTube channel called Nitro Rad, which is honestly really freaking cool. It's a really enjoyable game. It's a lot. There's no cons about it, but though the demo, the beta thing was kind of a little bit long, but you kind of would expect that from the kind of Deltarune inspired-esque episodes. Which I believe that this is actually before Deltarune came out, but I'm gonna put my hopes in saying that it was also inspired by Deltarune. So all in all, this is an amazing preview for a full game to come out. It's still getting updates to this day, by the way, and recently gotten an update for a new enemy to appear in Alice's house, but I haven't personally experienced it yet. Trying to get this video done before the deadline. This is an amazingly inspired by all the Earthbound inspired RPG titles and horror social media titles, which is honestly, in my opinion, really cool. I'm hoping this game gets an amazing spotlight. It deserves when the full game comes out. That's all I had to say for the moment. Hopefully when the game fully releases, I can hopefully do a part 2 of the game. Anyways, guys, I hope you all have a very nice and spooky Halloween. Love you all, stay safe, and get all the candy goodness. Bye!